Welcome to this session of Leaders Are Readers. This is your host, Doc Ant, and with me today, the one and only Stephen van Basten. Stephen, how are you doing today?
Yeah, always good, always good. Thank you. Up
As,
and at it, up and at it,
Wonderful.
as
As you guys
always.
know, we've been doing the series on AI, artificial intelligence. We've been looking in terms of how to embrace it, how to reject it, you're scared of it, but really what path to take. So, Stephen, let's just bounce around a little bit. Generally speaking, if you speak to small business owners, because remember the title of our book is So You Run a Small Business, Now What? Are the people generally speaking, are they scared? Thanks for holding that up. So there you can see it. Running a small business, now what? AI, coach in a box with interactive AI prompts. So let's talk about that. Do the people fear this transition? What would you say?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So, firstly, I think we can all accept right now that AI is here to stay, whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And like anything, AI is immoral. It's the people behind it that make it. It's like money. Money doesn't make you evil. It's how you use it that's either good or bad. So how we choose to use AI in our businesses and our lives makes the difference. But yeah, a lot of people are not using it yet, and soon will be. I mean, Doc, it's quite interesting. My wife's a bit of a late starter on it. So whenever we're out and someone asks something and there's a discussion, she Googles and I just go on to ChatGPT immediately. And I'm like finished quickly and she's going through a whole bunch of options with it first. So the uptake is not great right at this point, which actually is quite nice for coaches who are looking at helping people to learn about AI.
Well, the first thing you actually mentioned there, it actually just showed your wife's profile versus your profile. Hers is a very analytical profile. She wants to know the facts, she wants to know the figures, so she will go and do her research. Whereas you would just go for the throat and say, right, let me get the main thrust of this strategically, what needs to be done. And that just shows you how different profiles will handle this differently. So, as you know, profiling is going to be important in terms of how you approach the subject. It depends on who you're speaking to.
Always 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so now in terms of that management of that fear, I find that overall you have to first disseminate between call it C-level management and the workforce. Because surely when you and I communicate, we don't communicate to the workforce per se directly. We communicate to the C-level management at best, and that's where we find where they think that they are AI pro and that they have got their strategy in place. However, I found that there's a lack of communication between the management and letting the workforce know what they're going to do about it. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, so I don't really deal at that high level. I my target market's more small business owners, but yes, I would imagine there's a big miscommunication between those two levels, especially around AI. And you'd probably find a lot of employees are concerned. People ask about AI and will it make people lose jobs? And I think it's an interesting question. I don't think it needs to. So what I have found in my business, it's just making me more efficient and effective and giving me more free time to do the other stuff that I enjoy. I would rather work toward a situation where we have a 4-day work week because of AI and a 3-day weekend rather than retrench people and get rid of them. However, I think it'll have a massive effect. So like if you take world employment, I don't know what it is, but hypothetically, let's say it's 70%. I think in 5 years' time, it'll be 70%. However, places like advertising agencies, like they're going to take a knock. Now they need to reinvent themselves and find new ways of working on new things to do or something. So I think it will have a massive effect, but it's
So what you're talking about is
one person loses and another person gains.
it's going to be different for different sectors. Definitely,
Yeah.
I think whenever we're talking about the concern of will AI take my job, immediately anything that has to do with the blue collar kind of work jobs, the mechanics, the engineers, etc., they'll be worried in terms of am I going to be replaced? Fortunately, we know
Mm.
that there's a combination between AI that accelerated the modus operandi of bringing the systems closer to you, but you still need somebody that will actually have to do the job because the world cannot afford to automate everything right now. I mean,
No.
that's idealistic that we can automate certain things. Like I saw in certain countries, they are starting to have petrol into your car without anybody being present. Well, if you think about
Wow.
it, in South Africa, we have somebody that actually waits for you at the petrol pump and they put your petrol in for you. In
Mm.
America, they've taken those workers away by you get out, you put the petrol in the car. In Dubai, they've just started a series where you bring your car, it automatically opens the petrol tank and it puts petrol in your tank. So now
Like a robot.
that's correct. Advanced
Wow.
automation. But I think if you think of the world holistically, that is a very, very, very small percentage of where the world will go in the next 10, even 20 years, because the cost involved to do that is just, it doesn't make business sense. Also,
Yeah, 100%.
you'll never replace people by robots because
Yeah, correct.
robots can't procreate. We do. Thank God for that. Okay. Don't get
I'm
sidetracked
not
from
even,
Boston. Don't get
yeah,
sidetracked.
yes, just keep me on TP, because that thing will take us onto a whole new place. The thing also is that when the robot breaks down, you're going to need a human to go and replace it, right? And also, in my opinion, you'll always need a human to create the prompts and be working with AI, interacting with it. As you know, I wrote this book, 80% AI and 20% me, but I had to ask the questions. I didn't just go write me a book on this and it just popped it out and I printed it, right? So there was still a lot of interaction. And, from a version 1 to my second edition, I think I've now got another 10 chapters and probably 40 pages and probably 20 prompts. So that's ongoing.
Yeah.
AI didn't say, hey, Steve, here's another chapter for your book. I went out the other day to a networking, someone was speaking about branding. I came back, I went, oh, I don't really have a chapter on branding. Let's pop that in. So it's just made me more efficient, but you still need me to do the thinking behind it, behind the processing. I'm still thinking behind the processing because AI to me, it's just a massive computer that's fast.
That's
It
right.
just it just processes it a million times faster than I can and has access. That's all. But you still need to be asking the thing to process and telling it process this or check this against this, analyze this versus
Take it
this.
back
You
to the
still have
book.
to give it something to do.
Take it back to the book. You've been very practical. And that is that you admitted that 80% of what I created with this book, so you run a small business now, one, was AI induced, which means you did certain prompts and AI helped you in the form of ChatGPT. I believe that's the main source that you
Yeah.
utilize to help you write the
Yes.
book. However, the book would not have
Yeah.
been possible without yourself and your three other authors. I mean, you've got three other authors that are in there because you wanted to cover quite a spectrum of the field. Now, that input has been
Sure.
given there. So I think today I'd like to give our leaders who are readers the practical illustration of what this will do for them because they're sitting here saying, you guys are, yeah, we agree. AI is necessary. We can see that there's an interface between what Stephen did and the book that came about and how we help people. But I think let's make it a positive illustration today in terms of what did you do and how can we help people who are part of this program today? Explain the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, 100%. For, the process was I went on a course. Actually, it's very interesting. Did you know, Doc, that Alexander Graham Bell didn't set out to invent the telephone? It happened along the way. It happened by the way. He was working on something else, and this popped out. And actually, serendipity and or God's will, whatever you want to call it, works in interesting ways. And so sometimes you stumble on something while
Yeah.
you're on another path. So I was on a coaching course, and then they had part of that. There was a free AI course which I went on,
Yeah.
and then a speakers course. And then I thought, gosh, then they would encourage me to do talks and encouraging me to do coaching. And then I put together a talk called the big problem for small business. And then I thought, gosh, all right, if I want to be a coach, what gives me the most credibility? Write a book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went, all right, so let's write a book. And then I had the chapters in my mind, or a lot of the chapters. Then I went to ChatGPT. So, all right, I want to write a book to assist small business owners. The
Okay.
first chapter is vision statement. Give me an introduction to the book for vision statement,
Yeah.
and give me 2 vision statements of very successful companies worldwide as examples. So it gave me an intro, and they gave me 2 vision statements. Then I went, all right, do the same for mission statement. But then where I had to get involved was I had to create the prompt for each one. So you're a very experienced, world-class marketer and copywriter and business coach. Ask me questions about my business, and then suggest a vision statement for my business. This is where I had to get involved, because there's a specific way of doing this that forces the prompt to ask you questions. So AI is now asking you questions about your business, and in a very clever way. I didn't realize how clever I was at the time, but I found a way to make AI your business coach, which is
Fantastic.
very, very cool. And it's very inexpensive if you buy the book and go on the weekly courses that we'll chat about soon, I'm sure.
Well, to talk through the know-how, I'm putting in the meeting group chat. I'm putting up just that is there. Okay. Now, I don't know whether that will be visible to our people that is currently listening. However, what I will do is I will leave a example of this prompt. This prompt was actually generated by Stephen van Basten. Okay. That
Yes.
he was the author of this. I will put it in the description of this recording today, that the people will see an example of the first prompt. Now, what do? They copy this prompt, and then what do they do with that? What is step 1, step 2? Explain exactly step by step what happens.
Baie mooi. So, if you're not South African, that was very, very nice, very good. Well, essentially, you first need to go to OpenAI and register to have ChatGPT. It's best to register, because then you can continue with thoughts in chat. So, register for ChatGPT, then download it, and then open it, cut and paste this prompt into it, push go, and it's going to ask you questions about yourself. So this one is specifically just about people who have never used AI before. And it's a lovely prompt. It basically goes, ask me some questions one at a time, interact with me, and make it feel like a conversation, and ascertain my level of understanding about AI, and then ask me questions, and then give me answers to teach me about what AI is. And the first time I did it, because I've tested all of my prompts on myself, I spent about an hour, and I was asking it all lacquer questions like, are you really a threat to humanity? And
Really?
like, yeah, and how were you developed? And like, where are you hosted? And like, what are you?
But hold on,
And
hold on. Give us answers to that. When you said, where are you hosted? What did they say?
I don't remember, Don. But it's basically a program that's
Yeah.
hosted on servers by OpenAI.
Okay.
But essentially what's happened, this is my limited understanding, because if anyone says they're an expert on AI, you should be a bit scared of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
like
agree.
someone saying, I'm enlightened, really. So basically, my understanding is that AI it's a program that was set out to just analyze all of the information in the world. Go onto the internet, download, go to YouTube, just download everything you can. And then it has massive processing ability to actually go and find stuff and analyze it and bring it back quickly, like lightning speed. And then they somehow programmed in some personality. I mean, sometimes I say, please apply yourself. You're not giving me the answer in the way I want. Then it goes, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me try again.
Okay.
And it actually has a sense of humor. You can go, you can make a pun and it'll go, that's very funny. It registers humor. And then what makes it intelligent, because it's all artificial, right?
Yeah.
What makes it kind of intelligent or intelligent is it learns itself. So
Correct.
every time it interacts with you, it remembers that. And then sometimes if you put documents in, it remembers that. So you need to be careful not to put anything into ChatGPT that you want copyrighted or
Great.
trademarked.
Well, the other
Once
thing
it's
is,
in
of
there,
course, it works along line. I mean, you can even ask it to say, listen, I'd like to write this article, but I want you to sound like Jim Rohn, because I did that once.
yes,
Jim Rohn was one of the guys that I followed. And then every paragraph that started after that was, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Jim Rohn never started addressing people without saying, ladies and gentlemen, because that was his trademark.
yeah,
You can even say it, I would like you to write this, take the same passage. I want you to write it in a more humoristic way for me. And they rewrite it very easily, because then they find it and they will then get themselves up to speed to what you want. But like you said,
yes,
your prompting has to be accurate. So in essence, I believe that this will actually cause new jobs in the future in terms of people that will work out various ways of how to prompt correctly. Because
yes.
garbage in,
Change.
garbage out, is the way it works.
Yeah, prompt engineers is what they will be called or are called already.
Yeah.
And it is already a very highly paid skill. But second to that is automation. And automation is not necessarily AI. It could be a program that's written that interacts with AI. So let me tell you about my website, which is a integration of AI and automation. So I have a website. It's got a blog page. Once a week, the automation will go to AI with my details and ask for a blog post. It'll email it to me. I can then tweak it, touch it up, change it, approve it. From there, it posts automatically onto my blog page, onto my 4 Facebook pages, onto LinkedIn, and it emails my database.
Wow. That is scary.
Yeah.
That is scary. I mean, so that's a
Yeah.
process. But you see, again, is what you fed it. So the instruction
Yeah.
was clear. So the expectation can be clear as well.
Yes. And humans created it.
Yeah.
You know, my nephew and my nephew created the website. Brilliant little 20-year-old. And but the two of us together, I briefed him, and he said, "Yeah, that's easy, Uncle Steve." 2 minutes later, but we had to still think about it, and we integrate AI and our CRM and our emailing, our email lists, and social media all in one. Plus, it goes onto my blog for SEO.
Fantastic. Well, obviously now people understand AI is an available tool to you, and you now find that ChatGPT is a super fast generator of information in the way that you basically started to skill a brain in a sense. So you start to recognize your style, who you are, and what you desire. So in essence, you can take any form of research and you can pan it out question after question after question. And then what would you do? As the question is provided, I take it you would copy that and you would put it in a Word document so you can save it in one place. What is your methodology?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. So if you're talking about the prompts in my book, 100% you would open a Word document.
Yep.
And then on the vision statement exercise, you do vision statement and then cut and paste the vision statement, then the mission statement, then the deliverable statement, credibility statement, unique selling proposition statements. So, and then I have created a template for PowerPoint where you get, there's a heading vision statement, you can write that in, just so that you've got it for yourself in a nice form that you can go through. So one of the
Can I just ask one
yeah,
thing?
go.
I
You
just
go,
said,
you go.
because
Yes,
I've
yes,
done the
yes.
exercise with you. The one thing that
Yes.
was powerful is your prompts caused AI to communicate with us. And
Yeah,
in fact, it
100%.
asked us 10 to 15 questions, asking us about what we wanted to do, about the vision, etc. So in the end, it really brought a focused approach to what my business was going to stand for. But you see, the prompting was correct. But you asked it in
Yeah.
such a way, or you prompted in such a way that it asked me questions that I responded to, and then it started distilling the information. It's like, swimming pool filter, and the end, it just gave, well, here's your best purified message. So the
Yep.
methodology
Now,
that you use helps people.
yes. Now, what I learned and what's so nice about AI is changing all the time and we're learning all the time. What I learned after printing my book, and that is now in the second edition, I've gone to every single prompt in the book and changed it, updated every single prompt. Firstly, to say, please remember this data or future, so that you build up a reservoir of information about my business. So remember my vision, my mission, my USP, my unique selling proposition, etc., etc. And remember it, so when I come back, you've got a memory of it all, and also for future social media posts and blogs. And then, yes, and then after most of them, I've now asked, at the end, last thing, after you've given me all the info about my vision statement, for example, create 5 blogs, 5 social media posts for me quickly. And then, so what I'm going to start encouraging my people to do is, after the exercise, create some posts and then post them, so that we just get used to posting on social media and getting exposure that way.
Well, I just want to give you credit for something, and that is that after I did the exercise with you, once I got the vision statement, I did take that and I put it on Facebook, because, you know, to be a good student, you have to be able to produce. So I just want to tell you, and that was because of what you did. So the people are
100%.
listening in here today are saying, I want to do what these guys are doing. So I'm telling them straight, your details will be there. And what the workshopping that you're doing with people, obviously some of them are joining a little bit late. How will you manage new people listening and saying, I want in? First talk to them, what must they do, where must they go? Because I think that's very important.
So I was thinking this week, in fact, Doc, that I'm one of the few, if maybe the only author, that when you buy my book, I help you to read it. So you buy my book, I'll put you on the list, and then you can join me on a Tuesday at 3 o'clock for ongoing sessions. But what I do is I onboard new people from 2:30 to 3 o'clock, just for the first session, because that's the first session. And that's really this prompt we've given today, and one other one, which is pretty cool. It's a high level, ask me questions about my business, and then give me some ideas on how I can make quick improvements right away. And some invaluable stuff comes out of that. I thought that what we would do is that we would go chapter by chapter, prompt by prompt, or maybe two prompts, but everyone's in different places. When we got Farnes, after doing the first half an hour session, he just went on. He's on chapter 30 now, and we're all on chapter 3. So he just loved it, and he just hoyed on his own. So that's going to happen. So what I'll probably do with the 3 o'clock session is just open it up and go, all right, we're doing chapter 4 today, but for those of you who are actually further on, do whatever chapter you're busy with. Because really they're working sessions. They're not coaching sessions, they're working sessions. Here's the prompt, cut and paste it into GPT, ChatGPT, or whatever you use, and then interact with it, answer the questions, take your time, and then work with the outcomes, and then create a social media post or 2 so that you can just get some exposure based on what you've worked on.
Fantastic. I can tell you what I've done for today. I actually have put your mobile number there on the side as well. So if the people that are listening in onto this session can see the side, they'll see the prompt, they'll see the steps of register the ChatGPT, put your prompt in ChatGPT. There's Stephen's number, so you can catch up and get a link for this coming Tuesday at 2:30, because that is how they're going to get involved. I'm very excited, Stephen, because you know what, you're practically helping people get ahead. And specifically, if you look at your target market, the entrepreneur and the small business owner, he now has an online coach that is in an open session helping them how to literally run the small business far more effective, and also be integrated into AI, which at this stage should be a foreign concept to them, because they're just thinking of, how do I survive daily? How do I make cash flow? Understanding that cash flow is cash flowing into your business and cash flowing out of your business, and realizing they need tools like this to make sure that they get to the next level. So what is your last message for these people today? Because let me tell you, the session flew past today because it was practical and it was a how-to. I thank you for that.
Oh, you're most welcome. What I would like to do quickly is just to download a Q code that you could, let me just see, it might take a while. In fact, let's not do that. I'm not prepared properly. You know, my last or final thought always is just take some action. Take some action. So So here's a concept. What got you here won't get you there, right? So, we all know that Einstein allegedly said, the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different outcome. So what got you here won't get you there. If you want to be in a different place a year from now, you have to be doing different stuff. AI is definitely going to come. You might as well accept it early on rather than later on. And also, this is an opportunity. Doc, I priced my book at 5,000 Rand, and I printed it in A4 on purpose so that it looks like a manual, because that's exactly what it is. It's a manual. I priced it at 5,000 bucks. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I see it. 499. I saw it. Yep, I got it.
Correct. Oh, very good. So the reason is, if you did this with a coaching company or a professional coach and went through all, because now I have about 65 prompts, interactive prompts. If you went through all of that work with a coach, it would cost you 250,000 to 500,000 Rand. It'll take you a year or two of once a week for an hour with a coach. You can get this done in a month if you wanted to, if you worked hard and quickly. But it's worth 500,000 bucks. So I price it at $5,000. I don't really sell it at that, because when you price it at $5,000, you can sell it at 2.5 more easily, or at 2.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you buy my book, even if it's the PDF version, and you come on to coaching for the rest of the year and probably beyond, I'll be available for as long as people are joining the meetings.
Well, that's very exciting, because I'm one of the students, and I don't mind saying that, because I also believe that if I want to get the best out of who I am, I need to participate. Like you say, take action. So this is my last message to you. I want to thank Stephen van Basten for sharing his knowledge, his IP, his intellectual property, with us today. I will be placing the prompts within the script of this message going out. His details will be there to contact him directly, because he will then give you the link for 2:30 tomorrow afternoon for those who want to meet as first-time joiners. And you know what? Do yourself a favor. Come equip yourself. And like he said, I'll end the same way. Take action. Stephen van Basten, I greet you. I thank you. Have a fantastic day.
See you tomorrow. Take it easy.
Take care.